Hi,
Hi,
I'm Nick,
I'm Jill,
and we're Hipstrings. It is episode 15, and we are actually recording on January 15th, 2018. It would have been really cool if it was 15, but we should have had this idea 3 years ago.
Obviously.
Welcome back. We've been dealing with holidays and whatnot. I'm obviously wearing a sweater that is way past appropriateness for the season, supposedly. I think it's just a cool sweater, but this is an ugly sweater, which I don't get that trend. Why are you going to spend so much time on a sweater?
I really, really hate it.
Yeah. So, anyways, this I find no shame in. Actually, most of the ugly sweaters are pretty darn cool. They've got some
Llamas.
personal thing about them. Yeah, llamas. There's a T-Rex with a Santa hat on that I've seen. I love them. And this sweater, my only shame about this sweater is that I didn't knit it myself. But my goal is now to use this as inspiration to do like a Pac-Man or something next year. I got this off of ThinkGeek. It is wonderful for actually an acrylic yarn. It's actually really soft. The technology has come a long way, but mine will not be acrylic when I knit it. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, this is Space Invaders, super geeky. It has even like the shooting ship things on the sleeves, and so the flowers are kind of flowers and or explosions.
Yeah.
It's glorious. I gotta add some flashing LEDs to it or something too. I was joking around. I'll put a version where you can play it on my back. Anyways, on to the show. Warp, Twisted, and Loopy.
Yeah, it's been a while, so there's lots of Warp, Twisted, and Loopy.
Well, yes and no. I finished something, and then I started another project, and then you decided to do the 12 cast-ons of Christmas.
Yes, but I didn't make it all the way through.
Yeah. Any small percentage of that is greater than 1.
So.
Unless you're talking about 1/12.
Yeah.
But you exceeded that. So do you want to start since you have so many more?
I'll start. These are not... The 12 days of casting are separate, so...
So this is just previous to that?
Yeah, this is just what's been going on since last time we recorded, which has been a while.
I'm sorry.
So I'm almost done with the sweater. I just have to weave in ends and sew it. This is an imagination sweater from this book, Knits for Boys. It is for Adrian, though he's about to grow it out if he hasn't already grown it out in the time it's taken for me to weave in ends. But Nick has a sweater with a shawl collar just like this in the same handspun. So the handspun is Rambouillet from Homestead Hobbyists and Hipstrings.
Yeah, so we'll have to get a picture of me and Adrian wearing our sweaters.
Okay, and then...
So I guess we'll go with the actual finished object. You all have seen me working on this stocking. Ta-da! It's done. And so this is the one for Adrian. It's got a little loop on here, and it was actually used to hold little stocking stuffers this year. It's got a pattern on the back. This was a Hipstrings pattern, or not Hipstrings, Knit Picks. Sorry, this is a Knit Picks pattern that is long gone.
They probably still publish it.
Yeah, well, at least the yarn for it.
Yes, the yarn is discontinued.
Discontinued. And I've been working on this for quite a while because going back in time, I have a Gabriella version of it. I have a version for myself. And I also have the first one that I knit, which was a version for Jill. And you'll notice as I'm going further and further back in time, my... tension or whatnot is a little bit different. Yeah, I guess I'm getting more stressed as I get older.
Different yarns too.
Only slightly different yarns. Honestly, I think it does have to do with me getting better with color work. This was my first Farella project, so my handling of floats was kind of a mess. You can see there's even like ones that I could probably just hang it from the float, which would not have been a good idea. But yeah, so the kids all love these. I just have one more kid down to go, and if I keep going at that rate, that'll be like another 4 years before that's
No,
done.
Adrian's just took 2.
That's true. I'm going with the multiplication because
Yeah.
Gab's took 1 year, right?
It's a Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, exactly. No, okay, if it's Fibonacci
No,
sequence,
3.
then I'll do a no. Yeah, no,
Yes.
4.
No,
Something.
3.
3. Yeah, it'll take 3 years. Okay. Anyways, oh shoot, there's something else I was going to say about it, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so we need to figure out what colors to do Chris's in because his favorite color is yellow, and yellow and white would not go very well. Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say. So there's actually in the Knit Picks pattern, there is 2 different patterns that go along with it, and so you can see them with the Nick and the Jill versions. And so what I did for, I think Gabriella actually had the one that matched Jill completely. So different patterns for Nick and Jill. But Adrian decided that he wanted to mix the 2. So we've got the flower from the Nick and the
Helix from mine.
yeah, the helix and the other like hourglassy thing in the middle from the Jill. So probably going to do a similar sort of mix up with Chris's. And then I have to do stockings for bunnies, but those will probably be a different pattern.
Okay, so now we can get into the 12 days of casting on. And not everything survived into an FO, and some were the beginning of spinning projects, which are still in progress, so they're still on the wheels.
Or spindles.
Or spindles. Yes, some of them were spindles.
I remember there was one day you came by and you're like, oh, I can't keep on casting on. I'm just going to put something on a spindle.
Yeah. There were 2 of those. There was some cotton on a Mistral, and there was some Inglenook bats on a woodland woodworking spindle that I got at Rhinebeck.
All right, so what do you have to show?
But what do I have to show? Okay. So the thing that's probably closest to finishing now is this sweater. It's the Victoria Yoke pullover from Interweave, like 2010 or something. I've knit one of these actually before. It has unfortunately gotten thrown into the wash and shrunk and is now a little too tight to wear. So, but this has hand spun as well as a small mill spun. So the hand spun is Homestead Hobbyist Dickia from the Nantara's Plantarum spin along that we did together. It's a Polworth Tussa Flax blend. It's the same blend I still carry as a hand dyed base. And then the brown is a Croatia yarn that Homestead Hobbyist produces. So this was fun because this was DK weight, which is what's called for by the pattern. I thought, based on wraps per inch, that this was also going to knit up at a DK gauge. It did not knit up at a DK gauge.
It's just too fluffy?
Yeah. It knit up at a worsted gauge. So once I realized that, I went and I stopped and took a measurement because I did not swatch for this sweater at all. I was like, I've knit this before. It'll work out.
Let that be a lesson, children.
So I
Always
figured
swatch.
out by what percentage greater my gauge was with the Croatia, and then picked a size in the pattern that matched that. And so I only increased to that, which fortunately was already the length that the cold 4x in the pattern. And then just for the ribbing, I changed things with the ribbing at the bottom to incorporate the hand spun again. And I just, instead of going down a needle size for the ribbing, I just did it, and so it's fine. It needs some blocking. It'll all work out.
That'll block out.
Yeah. And then I also started this crochet scarf.
Ooh.
And this is Homestead Hobbyist again. It's his Mindy's Taffy colorway on Manx Lawton, which is kind of a, is a brown, so it's very muted. This on a white base is really in your face bright. And then there is also a cast on these socks because
Which are in your face bright.
I had another pair of socks I was working on. I stopped working on them because I was like, I don't know where the other ball of yarn is for these socks. Did I make the other sock already? If so, I should probably match the length of it. So I put that down until I could find the other part of the project. Well, I found the other part of the project a couple weeks ago. I can't find the part I was working on. So I started some new socks for myself. Outrageously bright. This is Gaubbist yarn from one of the members of the Steel City Fiber Collective, which is unfortunately no longer with us.
The person didn't die. The Steel City Fiber Collective is no longer with us.
No. Yes, Gaubb is still with us. And this is just a simple sock pattern that I've made up that just has a little bit of ribbing at the edges. So that's all I have to show for 12 days of casting on.
It doesn't look like 12.
Because I made it to like 7.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I made it to 1. I'm not even sure I did this on the first day. I don't remember when I cast this on. No, I cast this on before Christmas because I was naively was thinking, I could totally get this done in time for Christmas.
A pair of socks for me in a week.
Yeah, well.
I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, well. But, so this is a sock that I'm starting for Jill, or not starting, finishing the first sock. This is Discourse. I don't remember the colorway name.
Reactor Design.
Reactor Design, there we go.
Which isn't up on the website yet.
How can I not remember that name?
I need to photograph it and get it on the website.
And now I don't have the book with me, so I'm blanking on the name of the book. But it is Classic Sock Patterns?
I forget.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I forget.
We'll have to figure it out. It's a bunch of...
really vintage sock patterns rewritten.
Yeah. I think this one's called the Gentleman's Sock.
Yes.
So,
and I've knit it before for you.
Yeah, and I'm knitting it for you now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to adjust the sizing. Unfortunately, the book doesn't talk about how to best adjust the sizes for socks. You just have to...
Well, this is like an 80 stitch count sock.
Yeah.
Which even for you, and you have monster feet, is way too many stitches.
So yeah, just be aware of that. Don't assume it's going to be on the right size. Swatch, and you'll be good. So I'm expecting to finish this. I have to do a lot of traveling for work these days, so probably in the next couple of weeks. Not just this sock. No, I'll be able to finish this sock within the week.
Because you're almost at a toe.
Yeah. No, I'm literally like a row away from a toe. Yeah. So that's the only.
Yeah. That's
the only thing I've got.
And then this past weekend, our son Adrian was telling me that in his art class they had started weaving, but they were just doing paper weaving. And so I asked him if he would want to do some weaving. I'd set up the rigid heddle for him, and he said yes. So I got out my Cricut and warped it yesterday. This is some discontinued Hipstrings yarn. It's a superwash merino cashmere nylon. 2 colors he picked out. He's getting a new first grade teacher tomorrow, and he wanted to weave her a scarf. So I'm actually doing most of the weaving, but he has done some weaving on this.
I remembered I do have one other finished object.
What?
My scarf. The woven one.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't shown that off?
We'll have to bring it next time.
Okay. We're going to forget it. It's cool. So
that's kind of what we've been working on. I wound a warp for my new floor loom.
And then we're going to be winding warps for making yoga mats, because I like to do yoga.
And your loom is free.
Yeah, now that I finished the scarf. There's nothing more hipster than going to yoga on a mat that you
Your
wove
hand-woven
yourself.
mat, yes.
Yeah.
So all of that we're doing ties into the next thing, which is, if you didn't know, Hipstrings is sponsoring a hand-spun make-along for the first 3 months of 2018. Most of the discussion is going on in our Ravelry group, which is pretty active, and trying to get people encouraged to use their handspun. And also a lot of people are active in there that use their handspun all the time. So
we talked a little bit about this in some previous episodes where we wanted to encourage you to work on patterns that you don't need to have that specific gauge of your final yarn, and then you can really take a good advantage of it.
But then also, what do you do when you are combining hand spun with a mill spun, or if your hand spun doesn't work out at the gauge you want for a particular thing? How to make those adjustments?
Yeah. So when did that start? Start at the beginning of the year?
Yes, and it runs through March.
Okay. So it's not too late to join.
Yeah, think of it as a support group for using your hand spun.
Yeah, it's not so much, here's a project, do it with us, and everybody share at the end. It's, we're here for you. All right, and then other big thing, do we have anything else to talk about besides indie?
There's a couple other local things going on, but...
Well, let's talk about indie first.
Let's talk about indie first.
So we finally have all the contracts in place, and we are open for applications for Indie Knit and Spin Spring 2018. We call it Spring. It used to be February show. We, in order to get the location we wanted, we had to delay it a little bit. So we are at the Ace Hotel in Pittsburgh. We have just about the same amount of space, but now it's one large gym area. The building is ADA accessible. There is plenty of parking right outside, and if you want to be super fancy, there's valet parking. In the hotel, there's a coffee shop, there is a bar, there is a restaurant, and there's plenty of space to sit and knit. And if you want to come from further distance and you needed a place to stay, it's a hotel. You can stay at the hotel. The date is March
24th.
24th. I was going to say 25th. Thank you. March 24th. And if you're a vendor looking to apply, we still have the applications open. It's going to be just like every time we're selecting the vendors from the group of applicants. And this time we are doing 8x8 booths or 10x10 booths. We don't have any really good place to put half booths, and they always ended up being a little bit awkward anyway. Am I missing anything?
No, so the Ace Hotel is converted from a former YMCA in the East Liberty neighborhood of Pittsburgh. It's accessible by public transportation. The main bus hub is like a block or two away. Lots of dining options besides just the hotel restaurant within walking distance. Heck, there's a Target to go to like 2 blocks away. So we really wanted to be able to keep it in the city, but have those amenities that everybody would like, especially ADA accessibility.
Yeah. My only regret is that it's not immediately with a ramp access. There's like 5 steps to get in through the front entrance, and if you can't do any steps at all, there is a wheelchair lift around the side entrance. But beyond that, then once you're inside, it's flat. There's elevators, and we're on the first floor. Yeah.
So Nick said it's a gym space. It is the former gym of the YMCA. Yeah. And it still has the same, gym floors and so.
Check out the website for the Ace Hotel. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, they also have some knitting groups a knitting group that meets once a month that I try to go to. Join us. Check out the place. Grab a drink. Grab a meal.
Yep.
Knit with us.
Yeah. So.
What else is going on in the area?
So, well, with the studio, We're starting up a new monthly craft night on Friday nights. So it's this Friday will be the first. It's from
What
6.
date is that?
That is the 19th, January 19th, 2018, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Hipstrings studio. And we're hoping I need to put some workshops and stuff on the calendar. With the loss of the Steel City Fiber Collective, I'm putting in a dye studio in my studio that will be open to reservation, as well as being another space for me to dye, because I find myself spending more and more time at the studio these days.
It's not a huge space, but it is definitely something where there's going to be some dyes there that you can take advantage of. There's
Different steam tables, pots.
the spinning thing.
Yeah, spin dryer.
There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
So it's a chance to be able to dye without, getting your own space.
And you've got the expertise of Jill there with you.
So that's kind of some of the stuff. And we're going to be bringing in some more yarn because now the city of Pittsburgh has no yarn shops.
Yeah, so we have a new supplier, right?
Yes. So we're bringing in Jaeger spun yarns. So it'll work. They're yarns a lot of weavers are familiar with, but they are also excellent for knitting and crochet. And we'll be bringing in a couple different weights that complement our other selections we have in the studio.
Yeah. So those will all be solids. And we're still going to be carrying all of the Hipstrings unique stuff, especially buoy. We have some secret plans to try and expand buoy a little bit further.
Yeah. But we actually have new colors of buoy fingering. I think 5 new colors are arriving this week.
Awesome. That's great. So we need to work on that overhaul for the website.
Yeah. So there's a lot of exciting things happening for us this year.
Yeah.
We can't wait to share them with you guys.
And we're glad that you're continue to be part of the exciting things that happen this year. So
yeah,
I feel like there's got to be something else.
Well, I think we completely got to miss the opening of fiber clubs because the long break in the podcast. Just so you know, I'm doing 2 different fiber clubs this year. However, signups for both of them are already closed. They'll reopen in June or July. I'm doing a hand-dyed cotton sliver club. And I am also doing what I'm calling the Synergy Fiber Club. It will be focused on blends and doing different types of kind of fibery experiments.
Cool. So yeah, keep an eye out on that, and I'm assuming people will be discussing on the Hipstrings Ravelry site?
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, then I guess that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess I should say hi to them. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jill.
And we're Hipstrings. It's episode 15, 2018.
It's January.
We should really start this over again. We're going to be doing this.
It's Martin Luther King.
Yeah, okay, now make it look really bad that we don't remember what day it is. January 15th.
Episode 15.
All right, let's try this again.